Okay, we'll call Public Works and Planning Committee order. Mr. Steve, you want to say a prayer, please?
Let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight. You're so thankful for all the blessings that we enjoy here in this great country and in our county. Father, we're so thankful for the opportunity that we have as this committee to serve our community. Father, I pray that tonight as we make decisions and hear information that we'll do so with pure hearts and clean motives. Father, I pray you'll bless our community and those who are hurting and help us to always be of service to them and to you. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Okay, look like building codes.
Right after the minutes.
Right after the minutes. Need to make a motion to approve the minutes, excuse me.
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm gonna write that in
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner. Building codes activities for July was issued 239 permits. Fees taken in was $200 for plan review, $65,645 for building permits, $7,425 for plumbing permits, $1,130 for gas permits, total $74,400. On the back of that report shows our running totals. We have issued 414 new house permits this year. Compared to last year at that time, it was 393, so we're up 21 homes. And 1,685 total permits for this year, compared to 1,547 last year, so we're up total permits 138. On your next report is our zoning enforcement property standards. Our inspections for July was 227 with 27 new cases. Our total for the year is 1,235. Our new cases for the year 172. I always like to run back up and see how many liens we're dealing with for the year. We have released 28 liens this year, and we've placed 22. So that's our tall weeds and grass maintenance when we place a lien on that property. So we've cut 22 yards this year. Our last report is our development tax collection. Building Codes Department took in $224,250. Planning took in $40,500. Total $264,750. That is our new total for this budget year. Last year we closed out with $3,342,000. And that's my report, Mr. Chairman.
Anybody got any questions?
Motion to approve the report.
Second.
Motion made to approve the reports as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Planning.
Evening, Commissioners. It feels like it's been quite a while since we've last sat down and talked. Just have a couple of things to talk to you about tonight. The first thing would be the available lot inventory that we present every month. We continue to see more and more building activity. As of July, end of July of this year, our total available lots is down to 625. Compared that from last year, it was 834. So you can see we are seeing a lot of movement on the building front. You'll notice under the subdivision plats not recorded list, that number continues to go up as well. We're over 2,100 lots now that are not recorded. They're in some state of the approval process. Most of them, or several of them, are in preliminary plat phase, working through construction drawings, something like that, or perhaps they're just not recorded their final plats yet. So I do expect the number of recorded lots and those available will start going up here before too terribly long. I will say also that although that list has gone up for the not recorded lots over 2,000, a lot of that's due to the fact that South Haven subdivision, that one off Ocala Road, which we'll be talking about a little bit tonight, over 550 lots in that subdivision. They've submitted their master plan and was approved at the Planning Commission. So that was a pretty huge chunk of the increase that we're seeing there. So with that, moving on to the rezoning report, we really just have one item on the rezoning report that actually deals with the South Haven subdivision. The subdivision was approved back in February of this year as a planned development. Since that time, their plans have evolved and they're proposing to make just a few changes to that. I'll just go over the changes briefly. There's actually a pattern book on your iPads. If you want to look at that in more detail, we can certainly do that. They're adding about 6.5 acres of land to the development from a couple of the surrounding property owners, Limbaugh property and the Arender, or maybe Arender property. So their grand total is going up just a little bit, about 6.5 acres, which is going to increase their lot yield to about 19 lots, along with introducing some smaller width-wise lots, 55 as opposed to 65-foot lots. So that's also partly accounts for why they're getting just a few more lots in the subdivision. And they're also revising their layout and their open space to accommodate that. They did some more detailed soils work on the property as far as their step tank and everything is concerned, and they had to move some things around. The changes that they're making wouldn't necessarily, each one individually wouldn't be just a major issue to me, but when you put them all together, I felt that was a little bit more than should be approved administratively by staff. So we went ahead and instructed them to go ahead and come back through with an amendment to their planned development application. One of the other changes that they're making that we're really actually pretty happy about, this isn't necessarily, if this were to have come in outside of the development, it wouldn't have been as big of an issue. Originally, they were proposing to put all the traffic from Ocala Road onto Old Shores, make some improvement to Old Shores, as well as the intersection of Almaville Road and Old Shores Road. What they're going to do, they're actually buying some property where Ocala Road T intersects into Old Shores, and they're actually going to extend Ocala Road all the way out straight to Almaville Road. So the improvements that they were going to make to the intersection of Old Shores and Almaville will actually be shifted down to Almaville Road as far as turn lanes, stacking, and all of that. The only thing, we just need to make sure TDOT is okay with that because that's getting in pretty close proximity to the interchange at 840. But preliminary discussions with the applicant and their design engineer seem to indicate that that's going to be okay. So that'll help out the traffic situation, I think, rather than have to go on to Old Shores Road, which is just a really small substandard county road. It'll allow them to build that new section of Ocala Road up to county standard, which will handle the traffic a lot more adequately, I think, than the Old Shores Road would. Old Shores will still be there, it won't have to access all that traffic as there was going to before. The Planning Commission didn't have just a whole lot of comments about this. They did have some questions about the lot widths and the drainage plan and different things and the traffic improvements. Most of that's not going to change as a result of these changes they're proposing. So the Planning Commission did recommend approval by a unanimous vote. So I'll be happy to answer any more detailed questions if you have any.
Anybody got any questions?
If there's no questions, I do have one other item just to bring to your attention. On your iPads, you'll see that there is a line item from TDOT regarding the status of various road improvement projects in Rutherford County. This is not a very detailed list as far as the amount of information that's on it, but it gives you a good idea, just general information about where some of these projects are. Some of these projects may fall into some of your districts, and if you ever get questions about them, this will give you a good starting point. If you need more detailed information about any of these, just let me know and I'll see what I can find out for you. But this is really just for informational purposes. Just thought you, and Mayor Burgess actually distributed this to us, which we always appreciate getting, but he also thought you would like seeing this as well.
I'll move that we approve the report as presented.
Second.
Anybody got any questions? All satisfied? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Get out of here so we can pull up the next person.
Highway Department.
Good evening. Mr. Stevens, I didn't get to speak to you earlier. Good to see you as always. We have a quick little list of things for you this evening. If it's okay, I'd like to start with our Public Works drainage easement. Matthew, if you want.
Yeah, I'll jump right in. We have 3 easements for your consideration this evening for public works drainage. The 3 subdivisions are located at the Creekside subdivision, Thompson Farms subdivision, and Riverwalk. Thank you, sir. These 3 easements, I've looked at them, I've done the engineering work on them. I feel confident that we can improve their drainage situations in these areas, and would like you guys to consider allowing us to accept these into our book, our public works book.
Greg, you're good to go with that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We, Matthew and I both looked at these, and then, you know, as you know, our board has approved these, so I think we can really help some of these people. So,
What is going on at Creekside? Is that getting onto the roadway or?
This is the Creekside subdivision
I'm
towards
very
Smyrna.
familiar, right.
There's several Creekside estates being stuff like that, but that one, there's some issues with drainage on the roadside ditch, and it's linked to a drainage ditch that runs between 2 lots. We're gonna go in and clean the
You're gonna
siltation
open
out
that
of
up.
it, open that up so that the roadside
Yeah.
ditches can drain.
Drainage has always been an issue back
Yeah, so we're gonna try to help improve that, and I feel like we can.
On the one in Thompson Farms,
Yes, sir.
is that in the new construction or is that part of the old construction that's going on out there?
See, the new construction is actually Barrett subdivision. That's the 6-lot subdivision on that Stub Street. We're at the end of Thompson Farm, right there around the cul-de-sac, and at the end, they have a water table there. And it's not getting off the roadway, and it just kind of sits in the road. So we're gonna open the ditch up that was already in a drainage easement out there, a platted drainage easement. So homeowner had asked if we could come in and clean that up. We can do that and open it up.
So there's gonna be more water put on the next gentleman?
To the property to the north.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Have you
Well,
contacted
actually,
him
we're
at all?
reestablishing
Yeah,
how
let
it
me
was
rephrase that.
how it was originally put in. We're not creating something new. We're just reestablishing the grade that it should that it was originally put in at.
Okay.
So it's not new water. It's not a new ditch. It's just reestablishing the old ditch.
Okay.
Yeah. Good question though. And the answer is,
I know
we
those
always
people out
try to get a consent. If we're gonna do something new, we always try to get a consent to drain and really
Right.
take a lot of consideration into what's going on downstream from where we're working. So yes, we're very tuned into that.
Will we take these one at a time? Just motion wise?
We can take them one at a time.
I mean, all of the easements, I move that we approve the 3 easements as.
Yeah, I think
it's
you
written
can,
among
you
them.
can take all 3 of them at one time.
Yeah, I so
There's
move
not
we
an
do all
issue with
3.
any one.
Second.
Any other question? All in favor?
Aye.
The next thing we have is, the next thing I'd like to talk about is a recommendation about a speed limit from the Sheriff's Department. We requested their input on the speed limit, and they sent us back a recommendation of 40 miles an hour on Rock Springs Midland Road. There's, as you know, there's some new subdivisions out there and quite a bit of traffic, so we're comfortable with 40 miles an hour.
Several wrecks too.
Mhm.
Is that a
Yeah.
reduction in speed limit, or does it just not have one posted?
It currently does not have a posted speed limit. And apparently to some people, that means you can go as fast as you want to, which is not correct.
You and the board likewise, y'all good? with this?
Yes. This is standard operating procedure. This is the way it always goes. A citizen or a group of citizens will petition the highway department for a speed limit on their road. And then we always forward that request, well, not always. If it seems feasible, what they're requesting, then we forward that request to the sheriff's department, get their input on it, and then wait for their input, and then we post it. It's kind of standard operating procedure.
I move to approve the 40-mile speed limit as written.
I'll second that.
Made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes, you will.
Well, I've got a budget amendment.
I thought we just passed it.
You did. Good point. That's a good point. Glad you brought that up. I held off on this until we were able to determine what our fund ending balance was going to be. As you know, our fund ending balance goes into an account. It doesn't go back into the general fund because it didn't come from the general fund. So our fund ending balance is, it starts out the fiscal year as an operating budget because our revenue is not coming in, 1st of July is when that's when we're really doing most of our work. We're really spending a lot of money. We're paving, we're mowing, we're the highway department, so this is the time of year that we do most of our work. So it takes a while for our revenue to catch up with our expenditures during the summer. So, that's the account that we write the checks out of. As well as that is our rainy day fund, so to speak. If something unforeseeable major happens, then that's where we would go to get the money, is our fund balance. I feel like that our fund balance should be maintained, at least maintained where it is right now. That's not to say that we need to spend everything that we managed to save over a year's time. That just means this is what was in there now, I feel like is about the minimum we would want in there comfortably, which is about 100% of our current operating budget. That's what we have in our fund balance. Annual operating budget. So that's good. That's great, actually. Now, unfortunately, I can't take all the credit for that. I've just been there 3 years. I didn't get all that built up in 3 years, but I have added to it. But so after I know it's kind of getting wordy, but after I saw what we were going to be able to transfer into our fund balance for this past year, 14, 15, then I felt like it was time to line our employees up on our county pay table. Most of our employees have been there quite some time, relatively speaking. I mean, that's good. That's just great. Yes, and that's why that's why some of them got skewed so far, because they've been there so long, and there's been several different methods of determining what their wages should be. So I would like to get to the point where I can comfortably do an employee evaluation for merit compensation. Maybe not a merit raise, because I have to make something that's sustainable. But I'm going to try to figure out a way to give them a merit raise based on their employee evaluation. It's a standard employee evaluation that they'll fill it out on themselves. Their foreman will fill it out on them. I will read all of them. We will meet together, and it'll be kind of a 1 through 5 self-evaluation, so to speak, and You know, the merit increase will start at a 3. So in order for all of that to work, we have to get them lined up. We have to get them started. They have to start from where they should be, not from where they currently are, because some of them are just not, they're not making the money that they should make. We have 56 employees, and this will affect about half of them. Half of them are already lined up on this table. Now this table that I speak of, this is a table that County Commission approved. This is a table that Ms. Sonia put together. There's been a lot go into this. She's done a lot of research on what other counties are doing, what the private sector does. So I feel like it has a lot of merit, enough that I want to be on it. I want our guys to be on it, our people. But at the same time, we need to have some type of merit system where the people that are excelling are rewarded for that. And the people that are coming in and doing the minimum they have to do, we're paying them already. We're paying them what they're earning already, what they should be. But the people that are rising to the top, that are excelling, should be compensated for that. It gives them an incentive to keep doing that, and it gives those that are maybe not doing as well as they could, it gives them an incentive to do better. So there's more to come, but we have to start from where they should be. And this budget amendment will allow me to get all of our employees across the board on our county approved pay table. So that's what the budget amendment is about. Keep in mind that we have to, and this is just kind of a sidebar, but we have to be able to retain the people that we have. And we have to be able to recruit, to hire new people that are capable, hopefully experienced, or at least trainable. And we can't do that if we have to move forward some. I understand we can't pay like the private sector, but we have a lot of benefits that make up for a lot of that the private folks don't have. So I would like to see this budget amendment passed, because I would like to see our people, men and women, on this table so we can move forward together.
Have you and Sonia, or you and Mayor Burgess, discussed this specifically? And
Yes, I was hoping Ms. Sonia would be here tonight, but we have discussed this at length. She has been very instrumental in helping me make all this make sense.
okay.
To make it clear, all you're doing right now is equalizing the existing employee's salary in line with the current pay table. Nothing to do with any merit increases or anything like that.
That is correct.
This is just equalizing so that
We can figure out how to do
a person
that.
who's been there X number of years in this position, they're drawing the same pay instead of one being up and one being down. As like you said, they've been addressed by various pay scales over the years. So this is bringing them all in line with the county pay scale.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is
Yeah.
correct.
I had something to that. Greg's employees and mine are similar. He has not much turnover, and I don't either. But it is very hard to find a new employee because we don't pay enough. The last job that I actually posted was posted for 2 weeks and did not get a single applicant. The job before that for a driver, I got 2 applicants, one of which was qualified and one that just graduated high school, didn't even have CDL. We don't pay them enough.
Consider this. You have 2 employees that have been there the same length of time, that do the exact same job, and they're very similar in their effort. Okay. You have an applicant, and they're not paid the same. Okay. You have an applicant come in.
Wait a minute. You said they're doing the same job
Right,
and they've been there the same amount of time,
right,
and they're not being paid the same.
right.
Why?
Well, it's because they've
How
been there.
did you get in that shape?
Well, there's
Various people.
there's just been various different payments over the years of how to address what the salary should be. It's just, and once it gets out of line, it's hard to get it back. I mean, this is what it takes to get it back. You just got to do it all at once. You can't pick out specific people and bring them up one at a time. It needs to be done in one fell swoop where it does not look like favoritism, and let's get it over with. That's the way I've approached this. But if you got two guys that have been there, they're making different pay, they've been there the same amount of time, they're doing the same job, you have an applicant come in that has experience at a similar job in the private sector, and his experience credit would put him on this table about where these other two men are, and they're not making the same. What are you going to pay the guy? What are you going to tell him you're going to pay him? If you pay him what the other man that's been there, the lowest man, is making, and that's not fair to him. So I just feel like, let's get it fair, let's get it done, let's move forward.
And that'll be your hiring practice, and that'll be your step increases in the future. Now you're just based on the county?
Yes, sir.
Table.
That's correct. That's correct. And when somebody comes into my office and say, why are Joe and Sam making more than me? I can sit down and show them, explain to them exactly. And when they leave there, they will be comfortable with my answer. They'll understand. Okay, yeah, that makes sense to me. So I feel like it'd be a good thing to get them on there and move forward together.
And your board has approved this as well?
Yes.
Did Mayor Burgess?
I don't know that he's even aware of it. I don't know that he has to approve it, but
I don't have to approve it.
I just wanted
we're
your-
gonna recommend it. Their budget, remember this, he presented a budget initially that did not use any of his ending fund balance. And his ending fund balance, now that we actually have closed the year out, is even more than it was when we had the budget discussion, so.
yes. And to that point, the budget that we approved, that was approved, the revenue was $8,862,615. The expenditures were $8,780,544. So this budget amendment that I'm asking for, this amounts to $126,625, would only put me out of balance $44,554.
And I'm not sure, Greg, whether your number reflects the actual number after they close these books or not, because I know you're.
Well, this is
You're
a few
on-
days old, but it's close.
Okay, because your department did have an ending fund balance greater than you initially projected.
Anticipated, that's correct. And that goes to, our most of that is attuned to our state fuel tax collections. They exceeded what the projections were. So that's good. But, the other side of that, of course, is if they can be that much higher, they can be that much lower. So you have to, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. So.
And one more comment, the highway department is akin to the school board. In other words, he gets to manage the details of his budget himself without your ability to change the line item numbers. Sort of like the school. So all you got is the ability to say the total number is the right number. So he's well within his authority to do this, and I think it's well justified.
Yeah, I think that the fact that you're wanting to come in line with the county pay plan is good. That way your department is similar in job skills to the other department is paying a similar pace scale. So I think it's good that we don't have, big discrepancies. And I think that's what's happened with some departments, because in previous administrations have been able to manage and they've done their own thing because they do not have to answer to us. So I think it's very commendable that you're willing to put your people on the county pay plan.
Well, even though I do manage my own money, it's still good to have input from panels like this, you know, so I welcome your questions and your comments. You know, I think that's what we're all here for, so.
And I'll make a motion to approve this.
Well, I've got one more question. This money, is this money that you already have, or this is money you're looking for?
No, this is money that is in our fund balance.
You already have it.
Mr. Beatty promised me he did.
Go ahead.
That's why I waited till now. That's why, you know, I don't want to look like I'm you know, I don't want to look like, okay, he brought us in a balanced budget and, you know, banged on his chest about that. Now he's bringing us a budget amendment, you know, the very next time. But I wanted to see what we had, you know, what we had moving into that fund balance, because I do think it's important that we maintain it at its current level at a minimum. So,
My motion was to approve this budget amendment.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
You have to do that.
All roll on this.
Commissioner Dodd?
Yes.
Commissioner Gurley?
Yes.
Commissioner Piercy?
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Stevens?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Appreciate y'all's efforts.
hey, we thank y'all.
Appreciate y'all.
Greg?
Yes, sir.
One more item there, that agreement with the TDOT.
My name is Brady.
I don't know whether that's on the agenda or not, but we can describe it, but tell them what.
I did not bring that.
That's okay.
I did not bring the contract. However, I can explain to them what's going
We can
on.
get the contract to make him, she can carry it on.
Yes,
So we
yes.
get permission to execute that.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Just on Landon Bridge.
Well,
No, this is a TDOT safety project
Oh, okay.
that the mayor has been asked to sign. It will be done with TDOT money. I think county match is $200 if I'm not mistaken. It is for a small portion of Sulphur Springs Road beginning at 840 and moving east on I think that's next road is Swamp Leanna, and then no, that's Leanna.
Yeah.
That's Leanna. Sulphur
Leanna.
Springs, Leanna, Swamp Leanna, and Central Valley is a route, so to speak, if you look at a map. And TDOT has offered to, well, they've offered to do a safety project on that. It will involve some signage and signalization. Signalization being striping and snow plowable markers, lane delineators, center line delineators. And we went out last year, or
Christmas.
yeah, it was, and rode with them and looked at, you know, what our concerns were, what their concerns were, and now they've come to us and asked for Mr. Burgess to sign a contract saying that we will be responsible for the maintenance once they're finished. I think it amounts to roughly $120,000 that they're putting in. Once it's in, you know, we'll be responsible for maintaining it. And it's we've done some similar projects to this, in you know, recently.
This road, I know from personal experience, having tracked a truck that was leaking hydraulic fluid, that this road is heavily used by City of Murfreesboro sanitation trucks to go from their facility on Florence Road to the landfill, having, like I said, tracked a truck from the landfill all the way to their facility.
Yeah, that's
in
just
recent times.
Yes, and in addition to everybody has, you know, that's using it to cut through, they don't want to use Jefferson Pike. It gets you the same. It'll take you on the same route. So you can achieve the same thing on this particular route that you can on Jefferson Pike. So there's a lot of traffic out there, and it's not, you know, the
Not the best.
it's not the best. The alignment's not great, you know, but this will definitely help. I've talked to Mr. Brian Hurst, who is director of their safety program down there, and explained to him that this was on our radar as well. So it's really working out good for highway department that they're, you know, they come along when they did. So, all they're asking for is Mayor Burgess' signature. I have read over the contract. I've looked at the project line for line. I've talked to TDOT, and I've talked to Mr. Hurst about, you know, the scheduling, how it's all going to take place. So I think we're in a good place here, and I think it'd be fine for him to sign it, execute the contract.
What do you need from us?
I think we need a motion to-
allow us to accept this agreement with them and execute the document. It's a local agency project agreement, and I forgot I brought this so Nikki can put this in and go forward to your commission for final approval.
I so move to approve the contract as presented.
Second.
You can do acclamation.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let's get that synced up out there.
Think that's got it? Right.
Little bit of benefit.
There's a long-term plan that you know, that Murfreesboro City has to extend Cherry Lane. But, you know, that's gonna take some time for it to happen. And in the meantime, this road's gonna continue to be heavily traveled. Once that project happens, then it will lighten the load a little bit, but.
Little roads heavily traveled enough that Dollar General built a store.
Yeah.
This is 100%
Yes,
grant.
they did.
Hey, thanks, y'all.
Thank you for reminding me of that first.
Thank you.
No, this will go to
Go with
grant.
each supper.
We got one. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
What are you up to?
Not me, I'm not up to nothing.
Changing the agenda?
Solid waste, man.
Good evening, how are y'all? First report you have is the landfill report. And if you'll see down on the very bottom next to the last line is a out of county line item. That's a new thing on the report. TDEC is asking us to start tracking that at the construction and demolition landfills across the
Is this
state.
under the public work, solid waste? You only have the one file called Public Works.
Probably.
Okay.
Should have both things on it. So that's a new line item that we have to track and report to them. So since we're reporting it to them, we thought we'd report it to you too. But that lets you know the revenues of the landfill. On that one, it was $5,400, a little over $5,400 worth of outside of county debris came in the landfill, and that's a little over 180 tons. The landfill, you know, before y'all's last meeting we had, we did a budget amendment to move some money to work on a leachate outbreak issue. And we did get started on that. We had to hire a company to come in and haul from the old part of the landfill, which is a different leachate from what we haul ourselves. It wound up costing us 12 cents a gallon to be hauled and treated. And we're gonna have to put that out for bid because we've already spent over $10,000 doing that. In addition to that leachate, we've been hauling leachate ourselves out of the C&D site as we've been doing ourselves. So since we've last met, we've hauled over 160,000 gallons of leachate from the two old closed site and the new site. Our leachate haul ourselves cost us about 6.2 cents per gallon just to haul it ourselves. And that's with free disposal. And then we also had a slide area on the old part of the landfill. Slide area is where the dirt just gets saturated with water and slides down the hill, and it wasn't a big area, and it wasn't the first one I experienced. So I was excited about it, but nobody else was. And we do have that repaired. But I guess the good thing about it, it was on a section of the landfill where there's no garbage. So when the dirt moved, there was no garbage exposed, no leachate leaking, and no methane gas coming out. But we finished the repair of that yesterday. Basically, what you do is go in there and move all that dirt that's moved out of the way. You know, check and see why it moved and see, you know, if everything underneath that is stable, and then you pack it all back in, cover it up with topsoil, and throw some seed on it. So that has been completed. the area that we've been pumping the leachate out, finally got the letter from TDEC. We're going to put a 2-foot galvanized pipe 20 feet long down in it to create that vertical drain that we were trying to repair to start with, but we were not going to use a pipe. But we're going to put that pipe in. That way we'll wind up with 2 sump pump areas for leachate. One at the C&D site we've been operating for a year or so, and then this new one will leave us access to that area when we need to get there. But it's lessened a whole lot. It's to the point now we can put the pipe in, cover it up, and just kind of watch it. All you do is look down in the pipe and see how much is in there. So those issues are well underway. We should get that pipe installed in the next week or so, especially if the weather holds like it has been. And we've also had a solid waste summit. The solid waste summit was all the governments within Rutherford County got together for a meeting. That was the Rutherford County government plus Murfreesboro, Smyrna, Laverne, and Eagleville. You know, we're starting the talk of what's going to happen when the landfill closes. And speaking of Middle Point, actually is what we're looking at, and trying to figure out what we're going to do. Every city and the county has a stake in this game, so we brought all them together. It was attended by at least one, sometimes more representatives of each of the cities and the county, and we've got another one scheduled that I think it's next month, September. So we're going to try to do those meetings at least quarterly and try to come up with a game plan. TDEC is really interested in what we're doing because we're the only one in the state planning that far ahead. But we've got time to plan, but the wheels of government move really slowly. So we're trying to get ahead of that game and get those wheels rolling. So there'll be more to come on that, but right now there's not much more than that to say about it. Also, we've been working on the final closure plan for the C&D landfill. And in doing the final closure plan, you have to estimate your remaining airspace. At the current volumes, based on the last 6 months of intake, Rutherford County landfill will be full and closed in 4 years and 3 months. So if we're planning on asking for an extension or doing anything different out there, we need to start those discussions pretty soon to see where we're going to go. If we don't do anything, then we'll just close it. And part of that is covering it up with all the dirt. We have enough dirt on site, you know, so that's not going to be a huge expense as far as buying dirt, but it will be a big expense in moving it. And it's about, once it's completed, it's about a 12-acre site. Any questions on the landfill?
You were talking about closing it at the current rate and whatnot. Was there a discussion about changing elevations out there several months ago and might prolong its life? Is that the C&D site?
Right. If we choose to go that route, then we will have to apply for an extension or an expansion, and then redraw for the expansion, go through the public hearings and all that stuff. And that will take at least a year from the time we started to get awarded that expansion if we get it. So we've got 4 years and 3 months, but we don't have 4 years and 3 months to make that decision. We've got to make that decision within the next 2 years to have everything to where we can do it in a timely basis. And then the other thing you don't want to do is all the money that's going to spend to close it, you don't want to spend that and then go back and have to dig all that off because it's going to cost just as much money to remove it and then add on top of it.
Is there a loose plan coming together to pursue that expansion?
No, not really. That's going to be based on what we choose to do. We're hoping that some of the solid waste summit conversations will help guide where we're going to go in the future and what our disposal needs for Rutherford County are going to be. Personally, my belief is we need to take care of Rutherford County right here in Rutherford County. You know, so if we look at waste to energy or some of those new modern techniques to where we can deal with whatever trash is generated within the county ourselves. And the reason I believe that is once Middle Point closes and we do nothing, then we're going to start trucking all of our trash to the next possible closest landfill. Well, we're going to help fill that one up and close it earlier. Then we're going to go further out to the next one. We're going to keep getting further and further away. So instead of starting that journey, let's start the journey of figuring out how to do it right here at home.
You don't want to hire over-road drivers that take 2-day trips, in other words?
I'd rather not.
But that's gonna be part of what the solid waste summit is gonna gear us toward, what's gonna be our solution. And right now, we don't have a solution. We've got a lot of ideas. Yes, sir.
Would you mind including this committee on your next thing as far as when you have the next summit and so on, so that if we choose to attend, we can?
Right.
So that we learn ourselves as what options are available and so on.
Joey Smith is the solid waste director for the city of Murfreesboro, and he and I teamed up together and gave a presentation to the summit, and explained the history from way back when up to now, and then the total tonnage and all that. And we get together Friday of this week at the city television, and we're going to do the same thing and basically put it on tape, to where we can go to the county commissions, the city governments, and any of the other entities, trying to get that word out. And the reason we're going to put it on tape is that way we know how long it takes, and we can just play that and then answer questions, because each government's going to have a different set of questions, because it's going to affect them differently. Smyrna and Laverne and Eagleville don't deal with trash, so it's going to be a new situation for them. But yes, we can let you know when it's going on. Any other questions on the landfill?
I got any more questions on?
The leachate issue, that resolution, the pipe, budget, expense, whatnot, that's already been discussed. The pumping it, the treating it, disposal, putting in the pipe, that was part of our previous discussions.
Right.
Okay. Thanks for the update on that.
Now, we wound it, our hope was that, I told you last meeting that landfills can have little pockets. And we were hoping we were in a real small pocket. Well, we're not in a real small one, but we're not throughout the whole landfill either. So, but we're to the point in hauling what we've hauled that we've got it managed to where we can go ahead and put that pipe in, and then go ahead and get a contract in place, because we did it under kind of an emergency type situation. So we need to put that out for bid. I'm not sure we'll get a better price anywhere else, but we still need to do that just to be the right thing to do. Convenience centers. Convenience centers have been busy. Schools are getting ready to start back. Teachers have been in schools for the last 2 or 3 weeks. They're not getting paid to be there, but they're doing a lot of stuff. So, and we can tell when they start showing up because their trash volume goes up. They're starting in there cleaning out and throwing away and all that kind of stuff. So about the last 2.5 weeks that's been going on. The teachers are actually in school this week. The students won't show up until Friday. So normally what we do through the summer, we run a summer route where every school gets dumped once a week for trash and once a week for recycle. So we started a regular route yesterday, just to keep them from getting way behind. And then once we get them caught up, and then we've got some route changes that we're going to do that's going to help us operationally and save us quite a bit of money too. So that has been given to the maintenance guys, the Gary Clardy and Larry Williford of the city, to where they know what's coming. I don't know if they've talked to their principals and all the staff yet or not, but that's where we're headed with that one. We did apply for the compost grant, where the city of Murfreesboro and Rutherford County Solid Waste, along with both school systems, go together for the grant. We got that turned in on time. It won't be awarded until sometime in January or February. So at that time, if we get awarded, and then it'll have to come back through both the governments to accept it. So we're still a ways off on what that may be if it happens. Through this waste audit that we've done for the schools to help us operationally, there's one school that y'all really need to recognize in your next county commission meeting. Schools struggle with trying to recycle. Smyrna West is an alternative school in Smyrna. When we did the waste audit, we did one waste audit in early December, and we did the other one in early May. Between December and May, they doubled in student population. They decreased the amount of trash being thrown away by 1/3, and they more than doubled their recycle rate. That's the biggest move you could ask for. Now, it's a small school, but it doesn't matter how large they are, with those type numbers and making that large of a swing, I think y'all should recognize them for
They
that.
do. How they generate compliance.
I'm not sure how they accomplished that. But it's a small, they had 50 students and they went to 99. The first survey, they threw away 6 yards of trash a week. They dropped to 4. And in the survey, they threw away 0.8 recycled yards, and they doubled that to 2. You know, so that large of a swing, I think that deserves a little recognition. And Smyrna West probably doesn't get recognized very often.
Is that yours or Brad's?
That would probably be in Brad or Rhonda's area, but it's a really good place, and Miss Davenport runs a really tight ship over there. So it just showed us that it can be done.
It can.
So maybe her energy or her motivation
It
is
could be.
doing it, perhaps.
And part of what may have helped spur that along is once we did that survey, we sent the information to each of the schools. And our target number, of course, we want them to recycle, but we want to manage their trash. So our target number right now, or my target number, is 30 students generate 1 yard of trash per week. When we did a survey the first time in December, we ranged from 2 kids per generated yard to 50. You know, so those that were doing 50 then are still hovering around there. Those that were real low have increased. But this change that we're going to do to help us is the schools put out as many dumpsters as they wanted and expect us to dump them. And a lot of them had almost double the container space as they needed. And that survey showed with if they had public dumping, that was in the survey. So there's still not any locks on the containers, but it's whatever they had shows what they had. So we refined that, and some of the ones that were not doing quite as well, we're pushing them along. We're going to cut their service back a little bit and make them have to do better than what they're doing. But out of the first 20 stops, we have 74 front loader stops a week. Out of the first 20, if you compare the cost last year to the cost on the new plan, we're going to save a little over $10,000 out of the first 20 stops in a year, just in operational cost alone. And then, you know, we've got the new signs. We've got all of them up except for 3 convenience centers. Leanna, Lascassas, and Walter Hill are the last 3. We'll try to get those up in the next week or 2. We're also working on new signage for the recycle containers, which is actually a struggle because a lot of the containers have different manufacturers and it's hard to get one sign to fit them all. But we have a lot of residents in Rutherford County that try to recycle, but they don't recycle properly. So we're going to try to teach them the proper way to recycle and not contaminate the product. So that's what all the signage is going to be. We've got a $20,000 line item for advertising, and that's where that money will come from. By the time we get through this year, that $20,000 line item may not be enough. But what our aim is going to be to teach our general public or get them to understand why we have to operate the way we need to operate. You know, it's not just because we want to be mean or rude or anything. There's a method behind what we do. And when they're throwing commodities in there that they shouldn't be, none of you ever did, I'm sure, but I know I did when I was in college. You'd go get you a 6-pack carton, you set it down beside the chair, and you watch a ball game or television, you pull the bottle out, take the top off, you drink that while you're watching the game, you put it back in the carton. And by the time the game's open, you've consumed all 6 of those bottles, and the carton's sitting there with 6 empties. Well, if you're a good recycler, you take that to recycle. The problem is they're throwing a carton, top, and glass bottle all in the glass container. The top needs to go in the metal, the glass goes in the glass, and the cardboard in the cardboard. That's the education that we need to give them. It's not that they're trying to do the wrong thing, they just don't know any better.
That's pretty good for a man that's drank 6 beers.
There's a man out there in Lascassas that loves his dog and loves his Budweiser, and he feeds his dog Alpo dog food, and apparently every day. But in the metal container is an empty can of Alpo dog food with a Budweiser can sitting in it. Well, it's tin and aluminum. He needs to separate those. But that's where we're trying to head. So we've got a lot of struggle to go, and we've got time to get there. all of our glass that we've done for the last 3 months, we've been charged $20 a ton disposal. You know, we could take it to Mill Point and dump it for free. That's just not the right thing to do. And if we start doing those type of things, then we're gonna kill our effort for recycle. So we just gotta get people to recycle better. The City of Murfreesboro Convenience Center, we do the glass for them, sitting in there today. There's a old commode in the glass container. That's ceramic, that's not recyclable. And whoever put it in there probably didn't know the difference. And I think that's all I have, unless y'all have any questions.
Well, I'll move that we approve the report as presented.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Number 6, you got that, Mr. Pearson?
I have. I've been presented a letter by a Miss Jennifer Yates. She's interested in having a bridge that is located between the old Lebanon Highway entrance on 231 and Patterson Road renamed for, well, it doesn't have a name on it. She's wanting to have a memorial bridge for her father. Her father is Ernest Black. He had lived in this area all his life. He served in the Korean War. He put 20 years into the Veterans Hospital as a food supervisor and a timekeeper. He has lived within or near this bridge all his life. And we would like to see if we could get this presented through as
A request to our state legislative delegation
Yes.
to allow us to put that sign up.
we've got to approve it, and then it's got to be sent on to the state for their approval, since it's on a state highway.
And I had forgotten one other thing, Mr. Piercy. I think there will be a cost associated with this, like $300 or something. So when you make your motion to allow this to be done, put in there that we fund up to $300. I think that's what it'll be to, the state will make us pay for the sign.
Will there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Will the county pay that, or the?
Yes, the county would pay it.
County to pay
That's just, I mean, if this is worth doing, the county should pay for it.
Well, I'd like to make the motion that we move this forward, and that we will pay the first $300 of the cost of it in honor of Mr. Ernest Black. For the ones of you that don't know Mr. Black, he's an uncle to a previous county commissioner that had my spot earlier, Jack Black. They're good people. I'd really like to see this done. I've already talked to Jim Tracy and Brian Terry. They're waiting on the paperwork to come to Nashville. We just got to get it moved on. That would be my motion.
Got a second?
Second.
Sereno.
Did you say
All
Mr.
in?
Black is still living, or is he deceased?
Mr. Black is deceased.
Oh,
He's dead.
So this will be a memorial
Be a
bridge.
memorial bridge. She would like for it to be named Sergeant Ernest Black Memorial Bridge.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody got any other business? Any right, Paul? Not, we'll adjourn then.